All right, I'm going to talk about The Idylls of the King by Alfred Lord Tennyson. But before I do, I want to recommend a podcast. It's called Paideia Today. It is hosted by Dr. Scott Mason and Dr. I can't remember his last name, Friesen. I can't remember his first name, but they do this podcast where they go over the great works of literature of Western civilization. Both of them are English professors, so well worthy of checking out. And they did an episode on Idylls of the King. They did an episode on Tennyson, so I will link that below in the description box. But that podcast, if you want to read the great works of Western civilization, they talk about quite a few, and they begin with the Odyssey and the Iliad by Homer. Then they go into Virgil with the Aeneid. They do Beowulf. They do Sir Gawain the Green Knight. And eventually they get around to Tennyson. They do like Shakespeare and stuff too. I think they did an episode or multiple episodes on Dante, on the Divine Comedy. So well worth your time to read these great works and to hear a couple of people that know what they're talking about discuss them. So again, check the description box for the episode on Tennyson. Now, this is 12 poems of Arthurian literature written by Sir Alfred Lord Tennyson over, a large period of time in his life. And this is considered pretty much his magnum opus and what he's probably most well known for. This is in the public domain. So if you want to go find a LibriVox recording of this, or, you can type it in and find Idylls of the King here on YouTube. Poetry readings, people talking or reading these poems. I'm not really want to attempt to read one. I'll read a portion of probably my favorite portion. I'll read my favorite portion. I'll give you some background on it, and then I'll read it, and I'll end the review. This is a great book of poetry. It's based mostly off of The Death of King Arthur, Le Mort de Tour by Thomas Mallory, although Tennyson does move things or play with things and makes these his own. So that's something to be aware of. But it does help to have some kind of knowledge or background for these Arthurian tales. So, you could always read, for instance, like if you're gonna do the poem like Lancelot and Elaine, just to type that in and then find like a summary of Lancelot and Elaine, or type in, and find a summary of Merlin and Vivian, and have an awareness of who these characters are. But I'll read this excerpt from The Passing of Arthur. So Arthur is dying, and Bedivere is his last night, and Bedivere takes Excalibur and returns Excalibur to the Lady of the Lake. Arthur tells him to throw the sword into the sea. So I'll start there and I'll read this excerpt here. This is line 301. So, then quickly rose Bedivere and ran, and, leaping down the ridges lightly, plunged among the bulrush beds, and clutched the sword, as strongly wielded and threw it. The great brand made lightnings in the splendor of the moon, and flashing round and round, and whirled in an arch, shot like a streamer of the northern morn, seen where the moving isles of winter shock, by night, with noises of the northern sea, so flashed and fell the brand Excalibur, but ere he dipped the surface, rose an arm, clothed in white samite, mystic, wonderful, and caught him by the hilt, and brandished him 3 times, and drew him under in the mere, and lightly went the other to the king. So there you go. Then he speaks to Arthur. Then spoke King Arthur, drawing thicker breath. Now see I by thine eyes that it is done. Speak out. What is it thou hast heard or seen? And answered made bold Sir Bedivere, Sir King, I closed mine eyelids, lest the gems should blind my purpose, for I never saw, nor shall, here or elsewhere, till I die. Not that I live 3 lives of mortal man, so great a miracle as yonder hilt. Then with both hands I flung him, wheeling him. He's talking of Excalibur. The him is Excalibur. But when I looked again, behold an arm, clothed in white samite, mystic, wonderful, that caught him by the hilt and brandished him 3 times and drew him under in the mere. In answer made King Arthur, breathing hard, my end draws nigh. 'Tis time that I were gone. Make broad thy shoulders to receive my weight, and bear me to margin, yet I fear my wound hath taken cold, and I shall die. So Arthur's dying. Excalibur's been returned to the Lady of the Lake. There is a barge that comes, and this whole section here, I'm going to skip down past it. Not that it's, I just don't have time to read the whole thing, so I'm just reading snippets. But we have Arthur saying to place him on the barge. There's 3 maidens that come, and they're going to take Arthur to Avalon. And then Bedivere is sad because Arthur is, dying, and Bedivere doesn't know what to do now since the Round Table is no more. It's over. The dream is dead. Camelot is gone. Arthur is dying or being taken to Avalon, and Bedivere says, what should I do? What am I going to do? So this is line 394. It says, Then loudly cried the bold Sir Bedivere, Ah, my lord Arthur, whither shall I go? Where shall I hide my forehead and my eyes? For now I see the true old times are dead, when every morning brought a noble chance, and every chance brought out a noble knight. Such times have been not since the light that led the holy elders with the gifts of myrrh. So there's a reference to the 3 wise men bringing gifts to the baby Jesus. So he says that such times have not since the light that led the 3 holy elders with the gift of myrrh. So that's a time of joy. That the time of Camelot is so joyous that there hasn't been such joy in the world since the birth of the Savior. Right? But he says, But now the whole Round Table is dissolved, which was an image of the mighty world. And I, the last, go forth companionless, and the days darken round me, and the years, among new men, strange faces, other minds. Anybody that's experienced the loss of loved ones or friends can totally relate to this. That is, the days, they go by. We're surrounded by strangers, new faces, new men with strange faces and other minds. We lose the companions that we love and have grown accustomed to. So that's what Bedivere is lamenting here, is the Round Table's gone, all of his friends are gone, Arthur is being taken, to Avalon. So it's a very somber poem. But here's Arthur's answer to the grieving Bedivere, who doesn't know what to do with his life now. And slowly answered Arthur from the barge, The old order changeth, yielding place to new, and God fulfills himself in many ways. Lest one good custom should corrupt the world. Comfort thyself. What comfort is in me? I have lived my life, and that which I have done, may he within himself make pure. But thou, if thou shouldest never see my face again, pray for my soul. More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. Wherefore, let thy voice rise like a fountain for me night and day. For what are men better than sheep or goats, that nourish a blind life within the brain, if, knowing God, they lift not hands of prayer, both for themselves and those who call them friend? For so the whole world round earth is every way bound by gold chains about the feet of God. But now farewell, I am going a long way. With these thou seest, if indeed I go. For all my mind is clouded with a doubt. To the isle valley of Avalon, where falls not hail, or rain, or any snow, nor ever wind blows loudly, but it lies, deep meadowed, happy, fair with orchard lawns, and bowery hollows crowned with summer sea, where I will heal me of my grievous swound. And then the poem continues to the conclusion here, but that line just really struck me when I read this, and I think that this just makes this just like a great poem. And where does he say here? Pray for my soul. Pray for my soul. This is line 414. Pray for my soul. More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. Wherefore let thy voice rise like a fountain for me night and day. For what are men better than sheep or goats that nourish a blind life within the brain, if knowing God they lift not hands of prayer, both for themselves and those who call them friend? I mean, that's just, it's great stuff, man. So check this out. Again, you can listen to this as a LibriVox recording. It's in the public domain, and I will link the episode of Paideia Today where they discuss this work of the master of the Victorian literature, probably the best. I'm going to be honest. Tennyson he's great, poet laureate during the Victorian era, and most widely forgotten here in our age. So do yourself a favor and either listen to this or read it, because it's well worth your time. It's probably the last really, truly great work of Arthurian literature. I'm going to be honest. I know everybody says T.H. White's once and future king. It's okay. I'm not gonna disparage T.H. White. In fact, I should probably reread it. It's been a long time, but this, I think, is like a 5-star piece of work, right? Truly a great work of Arthurian literature, and it's a shame that more people haven't taken the time to familiarize themselves with it. So, thanks for watching, as always, and have a wonderful day.